Hi, this is Erica from Simply Craft, and this is another Demo Plus. And today I am literally just going to show you a run through of some of my art journals. I just thought it'd be interesting for you to maybe see somebody else's process and also all the different ways that you could art journal. It's become very popular now, and some people are thinking, well, yeah, but what is it? And I would say it can be whatever you want it to be. It's not just a one-directional kind of style. There are so many different things that different spins you could put on it. So let me show you a few of the kind of different ways that I've used it. This was one of my main journals, and I would say I've not really finished any books. I just keep them going. So again, don't ever feel like you have to finish one before you go on to the next. I mean, there's quite a few different books here, and not one of them is finished. So bear that in mind when you're working. It's nothing that anyone can tell you. You know, you can do your own thing. So there we are, started 2013 in this one, so it's been a while. Most of my pages I like to fill them out just to get some colour down, so when I'm ready to go in with a page, I don't have to be faffing about with working out the background. So there's quite a few pages that have stuff already done to it. And then there's ones that are completed. If you look on my blog, some of these are already on my blog. And there's some different techniques with collage and stamping and stenciling on all of the pages. You know, it's just what I love to do. This is all about using the negative space with stencils and doodling. So I kind of try a lot of different things out in my books. There's an image transfer there. There's some stamping and just using up scraps of stamping that I've had. That's with the, you can see it's the Glimmer, which one are those? Oh, the Lindy Stamp Gang sprays. So, you know, you'll find, and if you can notice, I will just open the book and do a page wherever. Sometimes I will choose a paper page because it's got a colour started that I was thinking of, and then, or something I'm inspired by, and then I'll just dive in and then I'll finish the piece, the page. But that, when I say finish, it might not be finished. I might well go back and do something else again. So they're always work in progress. So that's one of them. That one's quite bright and colourful. And I work in different sizes as well. These are our A4 pages that I've created for different projects. One day I will put them all in a book, but sometimes they just hang around as a single sheet. It doesn't mean that it's not art journaling. It's just it hasn't had its place yet. So I work on A4 sheets as well. I work on watercolour paper, and this one is definitely useful that it's not in a book, because the stitching, it would have been hard for me to do the stitching all the way around if it was in a book. So that's why, you know, sometimes I like to have them out of a book. And then sometimes I've just got pages where I've created a face, and then eventually they'll all go somewhere. There's some collage in this one with stamping. This one is collage with magazines and scrapbook papers. So, you know, there's so many different things that you can do. This one is a smaller scale, and I've done a lot of stenciling in this one and stamping, just using some of the new things that I've had in and just seeing what they look like. I love this one, but it's obviously just a background, but I just love the look of it. So there's a few other things in there, but just to show you, you know, it's and that's got loads to go. So, and I've covered that in duct tape just to make it more durable. This is one of my original ones, and it's got some mica spray colours on the front. And you know, you can put anything in them. You can make it, I've got photos, so it's like scrapbooking, a lot of text. This one's got quite a lot of writing in it because it's a more personal one. You know, there's lots of writing there. And the writing becomes a pattern as well. So, you know, sometimes the pattern, the writing becomes more of a look than actually what's written, if that makes sense. Done some gilding on this one. So, you know, lots of different, oops, pages don't want to turn. Lots of different ways to use art journals. This one is the Tando. It comes with just the chipboard, and then you can buy some rings to put in them, and then this will take your single sheets of paper. So this one's handy for this size. But if you see, I don't always, if there's scraps that I've just added a tab onto it and put some rings, so I can put it in my book, and so it's all safe in one place. I'm not going to lose them. That's a photocopy that I've just painted over. Stencils, stamping, watercolour. So there's quite a lot of different things, pages that I haven't yet done anything with. So lots of different ways to use it. Finally, this one was done for our art journal class, and all the ladies now have a book to work in. We've also, in our class, we cover a couple of different things. Last time we did colour theory, and we created our own colour wheel. I've created some pockets to go in the front and back of this book, so I've got somewhere to keep all my bits. And again, like I said, you don't tend to start in the front of the book, you can start wherever, and these are all there waiting to have something happen on them. I don't think there's many finished pages. Oh, there's one with the dragonfly, but like I said, you know, the pages can be anywhere. There's a nice bright and colourful one, and I think there's one, this was on the Mixed Up Mag blog. I did a face, drew the face, drew all the bits, and then there's some stenciling and stamping. So it could be anything, you know, your pages are yours. They can be whatever you want them to be. So, and this one's more of a personal one because I've got some words in it that sort of mean something more to me. But as you can see, none of my books are finished. That's how I like it. I like to just have time to just play in them, and also if there's nothing worse than you've done a page and then you've got to wait for it to dry, and then you just got to sit there. So I don't have to. I can put it aside and I can pick up another book, and that's what I love about it. So I hope you'll be inspired to have a go at art journaling. It can be whatever you want it to be, and it's yours. It's just for you, and that's what I love about it. That I use it as also as an inspiration when I'm stuck with something, or when I've had a new material in, and it's possibly the first time I will use, say, a stencil or a stamp, so I get the feel of it and I know what it looks like when it's put out. So in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you a basic background and how to create it. Okay, so I have my journal here. I'm just going to open to a blank page, and I'm quickly going to show you how I would create a background. It's only one of the techniques, there's plenty others. I even use, I clean my brush off, so sometimes the pages get filled that way. But we'll start with a blank page with this one, and I've deliberately limited myself and I've chosen the colours from the Seth Apter special edition with green patina, smoked paprika, mud splat and key lime, just to give me colours maybe I wouldn't use. And that's another thing about art journaling, is push yourself into using colours maybe that you wouldn't have thought of. So let's get the first lighter colour down. It's easy. Oh, shake the paints, forgot to say. It's easier to use the lighter colours first and then build to the darker. Very harder to go the other way. So always a good idea to start with a light. And I'm going to use my rough brush, and I'm just going to put some patches of colour down. Like I said, I mean, this is my take on art journaling, and it's not everybody's. This is that lovely thing about art journaling. It is what you make it. As long as it's in a, you've worked it and it's in a book, it's an art journal. I mean, obviously, some of my art journals are not even in a book. So there really are no rules. So we've got some colour down there. Let's start with the next colour. Shaking first. I'm not even going to clean my brush. If it gets too mucky, I will wipe it on some towel. And at the moment, I'm keeping the colours separate from each other. I'm not even worried about the paint going onto other pages. I like that when those edges, they become a sort of mush of all kinds of colour layers going on. So the thing with this is nothing worries me. Everything is an unexpected surprise, and I'm working with it. So I think we'll go with the green next. Now we'll just wipe that, because if you know anything about colour theory, these are quite opposite on the colour wheel, and we don't want mud yet. We've got mud splat there, but we don't want it from here. So let's put some of that green down. Love, love, love this colour. So although the colours look quite dull, when done like this, they really do pop. Got some real colour going on. I might choose to not add the brown until later, because I'm liking this brightness that I've got. So that's my first layer. Now I'm going to go back and start again. You can see how easily this could be a page of cleaned off brushes. So, you know, before you know it, the backgrounds that it feels like that they take time, the backgrounds are already done for you. So let's just go in the patches that haven't got any colour on them yet and see how we go. And again, we're layering and building our colours. Next colour. Let's quick, oh, let's not lose that. Because the layers underneath are dry, well, hopefully, I'm not getting mud, I'm getting a layer. So it's not blending with the colour, it's sitting on top. And that's why you don't get quite so much of a muddy look when you're doing this. Unless, of course, you don't let them dry, and then that's when it goes wrong. let's just try and get some of this paint out of here, because we're getting to our layers where they matter. So let's add a little bit on that edge there. And like I said, today I'm making a background. I quite possibly will add stuff to it later on. They're never ever 100% finished, so but I like that. So I've got a sort of funky thing going on here. Let's add a little bit more of a lighter colour with the two blended. Anyway, so this is only a basic idea. I'm just going to dry it. And now I'm going to add some stenciling, and I'm thinking the way the colours have gone, I think I'm going to go with this blocky one, and I shall just put a blob of the colours out and use a sponge just to sponge out the colours. I will put a little bit of brown out and see how I feel about it, but I will. Oh, I didn't shake it, did I? Always remember to shake the bottles. Right, so let's get started. You just want a little bit of paint on the sponge, and then you just go. So I'm just going to pick areas. Obviously it won't show on the heavy green, but it will show on the other colours. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm adding the colour green to where the green isn't. Does that make sense? So I'm stenciling the green where the other colours are. Yeah, that makes more sense. I know what I mean. So we've got orange, so we can go in. We've got to be careful now, not creating too much mud. This is quite a fierce colour to be using, but like I said, I'm going with something out of my comfort zone for a reason, and this is what this kind of work is all about. And then finally we'll put some of this, although I'm not sure this is going to stand. Oh yeah, it will. See, experimental always with this, you know, you think, oh, that's not going to work, and then it does. So it's always worth a go. So when we take that off, we've got a nice kind of blocky design coming. And like I said, I think I will leave the brown just for the moment, and we'll do the same on this side. And there we go. A little bit more up there I can see. Choose my orange on that. And on the edge here there's not anything, so we'll just put a touch there. And you can see it's a kind of proportion thing, and you kind of work by eye, and you can kind of work out where things need to go. If you can feel like there's a gap, that's usually it needs filling. So I'm happy with that. I was gonna go with some words, so I think I'm gonna put that there, but I think rather than use the brown, I'm going to introduce the midnight, which is like a blue black. I think that's going to match better with what I'm doing, and I'm only going to use the words. So even though I put that brown out, you don't always know until you're doing it where the work is going. So I have to be very careful not to overload this now, because I want this crisp as possible. And there we go, there's our text, and obviously there'll be more to work on this, but I think just to finish it off, I'll sponge the dark blue around the edges. I like to do this because I think it just frames it. And there we have it. It's just the beginnings of a page, but it's there. Now, I would want to put extra doodling and writing on top, but I don't normally do that at least until this is completely dry, because wet paint or uncured paint will kill your pens, and it's usually recommended the next day you do the doodling on top. There are some pens that allow you to do it, but as a rule it's better to let it settle and then come back and do some work over the top. So that's a quick background for you to give you an idea of creating in your art journals. So I hope you enjoyed it and you'll give it a go. Thank you.